Shapiro. You mentioned in your comments your appointment as co-chair of the Task Force on Western Civilization, and I applaud you for that. In your acceptance, one of your quotes was, "Our position as the most prosperous and free society in the world comes from the traditions and culture set forth by our founding fathers," and I applaud you for that. Yet, when the Republican members of the State Board of Education endured vicious attacks earlier this year for including that very same set of principles in the K through 12 social studies curriculum, you declined to publicly support them. Senator, why the apparent disconnect?
There's no disconnect, Bill, and you and I have had this conversation before several times. I agreed with everything that they decided to do. They are elected by the people to spend their time and their energies in the way they believe is right. For me, as the chairman of the Education Committee, to intervene in that process would have been unacceptable. If you look at all the issues that they bring forward, and they bring a lot of issues forward, I never get involved in their business. When they and I meet together to talk about issues, which we do many times, we will talk about issues, but I don't go to their meetings, and they don't come to my meetings and tell me what to do, and I don't intend to go and tell them what to do.
Certainly, Senator Shapley and many members of the legislature on the Democrat side did not have that same feeling.
Well,
they absolutely, chopped and channeled the board, and they needed your support, and they did not get it.
Well, we have a difference of opinion. I agreed with what they did, and I'm hoping that things will turn out very well in tomorrow's meeting as well.
Any response on that?
It sounds like many positions on the mosque in Manhattan.
Barbara Harless, I'm with the Articles of Freedom. I am going to, again, working with a group that is interested in repealing the 17th Amendment, the one after the 16th Amendment that were both ratified in 1913. And it took the power away from our state elected leaders to have representation up in Washington. So I would like to know, since I'm going to be working with a group that wants to repeal the 17th Amendment, what your position would be and how you would feel about having the power back to communicate so that our state legislators would have a voice in Washington. And that's for both of you.
Who did you want to go?
I'll take it first. That's fine. I'm very much in favor of that. I think the 17th Amendment is one of the things that the progressives passed in the early 20th century that's had a huge problem on our country and caused many of the things that we are seeing come to fruition today, including things like Obamacare to come in. So I'm very much be in favor of the repealing the 17th Amendment. I think that one of the challenges that you see with that, however, is that would that then lead to some other problems? And I don't think so. But we would have to address that in some way. Would that then in also lead to the rescindment of the Electoral College, where people would try to tie those two things together, which I think is inappropriate. But I would absolutely favor repealing the 17th Amendment.
I'm not as familiar with the 17th Amendment. I think anything that gives us as a state more power to be sovereign and to do the things that we want to do, free of federal constraints, I am absolutely 100% for. And I was going to ask you, who are you working with on that?
Well, it's a new group. I'll think about the name.
Okay.
I got in contact with them last week.
Okay. And it's a nationwide proposal?
I don't know how big they are.
Okay. Because I'm assuming it's a nationwide movement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
To work with the state.
Right. I'd love to talk to you more about it.
My name is Andre Vanderist, and I haven't lost that Yankee voice, and I've been here for 30 years. My question is on illegal immigrants, and I'm wondering what they're going to do, or what you all are going to do about the situation that we have. It always confuses me where we try to catch them when they cross the border, but it seems like once they get past Austin, it's like a safe zone, because I still see in the city of Plano, and I've lived in the city of Plano for approximately 30 years, and I've seen people dispersed all over the place. I've seen corral to one area, and now I see the city of Plano, even for the last few years, accommodates and supports them, and I would guess with taxpayer funds to put them under one roof. And I would like to know or see some sort of changes in that area, because if we're going to stop illegal immigration and straighten that situation out, we have to start at home. And not blame the federal government, which is horrendous what they're doing right now in Arizona, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Is that for me, or is that for the senator, or is that
Senator Shapiro, go ahead and address it, and then Mr.
I
Kless.
have very strong feelings about this, and I will tell you that my feelings are very different from my opponents. I truly believe that we have laws in place today that we must enforce. I truly believe that the border has got to be secured, first and foremost. I truly believe that if we enforce those laws, we won't have the problems you're talking about. Is it going to be a perfect society? No. Do we have a perfect immigration policy? No. I, too, am a first-generation American. And my family came over here many, many years ago. And when they came for all the right reasons, and they came legally. And the message we're sending to others who want to come legally is, you've got to wait, because the rest of these people are coming across illegally. Unacceptable. If we secure the borders and we begin to enforce our laws, I'm going to serve on a committee with 5 other senators, and we are going to come up, I'm not going to call it the Arizona law, because that'll light your hair on fire. We're going to call it the Texas law. And we're going to find those things that we can do to stop the problem. And we're going to do it this session, I promise you.
Well, actually, I don't think we're too far apart on this. I mean, who in their right mind would not be for secure borders? Oh, right, Rick Perry and Bill White, right. Both of them. See, what I would propose, and this has been put forward by Kathy Glass, who's the Libertarian nominee for governor, is that we need to put the state guard on the border. They're totally under our control. We don't have to worry about asking permission from information. The second thing we can do is stop servicing people who are not citizens. I mean, this is pretty easy. We haven't talked about healthcare yet, but Obamacare is real interesting, because you don't have to, while every citizen must have health insurance, no one has to prove they're a citizen. Go ahead. A little bit crazy on that. But the other thing is, immigration is a very complex problem. It's probably the most complex problem, because it involves the state as well as the federal government. And Senator Shapiro's and my ancestors and most of yours came in legally. But when we had a sane legal way to get in this country, right now we have significantly restricted the number of temporary worker visas that we have in place in this country. And that's a major problem. Here's the crazy thing about this. This was done and tried and successful in the late 1950s. We significantly increased the number of temporary worker visas, and illegal